In the beginning, the Garden of Eden was paradise. Adam and Eve lived in harmony with only one rule: do not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The serpent, the craftiest of all creatures, approached Eve with a question. Did God really say you must not eat from any tree? His words twisted God's command, planting doubt. Eve replied, "We may eat from the trees, but not from the one in the middle. If we do, we'll die." The serpent lied. "You will not surely die. God knows your eyes will be opened, and you'll be like him, knowing good and evil." He made disobedience sound like a path to wisdom and power. Eve listened, her trust in God wavering. The serpent's temptation was simple: become like God. The stage was set for a choice that would change everything. The serpent's whisper was more than a question. It was a challenge to the very foundation of trust. Eve stood at the crossroads between obedience and desire. The garden's peace hung in the balance. The serpent's words echoed, promising more than God had given. Eve's heart wrestled with the promise of forbidden knowledge. The ultimate temptation was not the fruit, but the idea of being equal to God. Eve gazed at the forbidden tree. The fruit looked delicious, desirable for wisdom. The serpent's promise lingered: she could be like God. She reached out, took the fruit, and ate. In that moment, she chose doubt over trust. She handed the fruit to Adam, who ate without protest. Together, they broke the only command. Their act was more than eating, it was rebellion. The perfect trust between humanity and God shattered. The world changed in an instant. They sought wisdom, but found only regret. The sweetness of the fruit faded, replaced by a bitter aftertaste. Their shared mistake would echo through generations. They wanted to be like God, but lost their innocence. The cost of their choice was more than they could imagine. Instantly, Adam and Eve's eyes were opened not to power, but to shame. They saw their nakedness and felt exposed for the first time. Driven by fear, they sewed fig leaves together for coverings. Their first invention was born from guilt, not creativity. But leaves couldn't hide their shame. Then, they heard God walking in the garden. What once brought joy now filled them with terror. They hid among the trees, desperate to escape his presence. The garden, once their home, became a place to hide. Their relationship with God was broken. Fear replaced fellowship. They became fugitives in paradise, hiding from the one who gave them life. The act of hiding revealed how much had changed. Innocence was lost, replaced by self-consciousness. The beauty of Eden was now shadowed by guilt. They could cover their bodies, but not their hearts. The first consequence of disobedience was separation. God called out, "Where are you?" An invitation to confess, not a question of location. I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid. God pressed further. "Did you eat from the forbidden tree?" Adam blamed Eve. Eve blamed the serpent. No one took responsibility. God pronounced judgment. The serpent was cursed, destined to crawl and face enmity with humanity. To Eve, God promised pain in childbirth and a struggle in her relationship with Adam. The harmony between man and woman was fractured. To Adam, God cursed the groundwork would now be toil, and life would end in death. The world was no longer a place of ease and peace. The consequences of their choices would shape all of human history. The paradise they knew was lost. The cost of disobedience was separation from God and suffering on earth. God saw their flimsy coverings and in mercy made garments of skin for Adam and Eve. It was the first sacrifice to cover shame, a sign of care even in judgment. But the price of disobedience was exile. God said, "Man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil." He could not let them eat from the tree of life and live forever in this fallen state. So God banished them from Eden to work the ground. At the garden's edge, he placed cherubim and a flaming sword to guard the way to the tree of life. The gate to paradise was closed. The world outside was harsh and uncertain. Yet, even in exile, God's care remained. The story of humanity would continue, marked by loss but not without hope. The longing for Eden would echo through every generation. The gates were closed, but the promise of redemption had begun.